Hi. Hello, I'm Melanie Funk, Managing Director of Eczema Support Australia. And with me for this extra addition to our recent webinar on exploring new eczema therapies is Dr. Gail Ross. Now, for those who recently joined us for our webinar, you know that we covered a lot of ground. We asked and Dr. Ross answered many of our questions about the new treatments, which are now accessible through the PBS. However, due to the many questions that we had and the time limitations that we had, there was one important pre-submitted question that we just didn't get an opportunity to address. So we're going to take this opportunity to ask. And who better to ask than someone who looks after over 100 patients on advanced eczema therapies? Dr. Gail Ross is the Director of Training for the Victorian branch and the Fellow of the Australasian College of Dermatologists. She consults at East Melbourne Dermatology and is a lead clinician at the Atopic Dermatitis Clinic at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. So we're really fortunate to have her expertise and explanations again for this really important question. So, Dr. Ross, I'd really like to ask this question that's been asked by many. And the question is, if I'm on a new therapy like Rinvoq or Dupixent, which is PBS listed, those two treatments, do I need to continue using topical creams and ointments such as steroids and moisturizers?
So it is a very good question, Melanie. The answer is yes. We do really strongly encourage people to continue their topical treatments. And this is particularly important at the start of treatment. So while we're waiting for their new therapy to kick in, I think it's very important to continue the topical. So that's the moisturizer and potentially cortisone creams or the non-cortisone creams like Elidel or tacrolimus. So these we know not only improve the effectiveness of the advanced treatment, but they're working in a different way. So the two together give better improvement than either one on their own. But we also find with time, as the advanced therapy starts to kick in, just naturally people will feel they don't need as much of the topical treatments. But I certainly see that if people try and stop them too quickly, the improvement is certainly a bit slower.
Actually, I've also heard a lot, and I can sort of see it happening quite easily, that with the advanced therapies, once they do kick in and are working really well, is it quite a common occurrence for people to start backing off the use of moisturizer? I guess getting a little bit blasé about keeping up with that.
Absolutely.
Is it important for them to keep doing that even when it's looking good?
Yeah, it's a common problem that once the itch is gone and the eczema is looking better, people tend to think, well, I don't need that and I don't want to use it anymore. And unfortunately, that dry skin tendency isn't being completely reversed by the advanced therapy. And if the skin gets dry, that's the commonest time that you can have a bit of a flare up. The eczema can still, have little ups and downs, even on advanced therapy. So keeping well moisturized is one of the really important things to continue long term if you want to minimize your eczema flaring up.
I guess that makes a lot of sense, especially in the webinar you talked about this being a long-term treatment option, and the question is, if I stop the treatment altogether, will my eczema come back? So I guess it is always there if we don't keep on top of it.
Exactly. So we don't necessarily expect the eczema to be 100% gone. It's usually very, very much better. We'd consider it pretty mild, but a few little ups and downs will often happen, especially in winter, or as if people have stopped everything else that might be making a bit of difference.
Yeah. So when people do have that breakthrough flare up or suddenly triggered by something and have a flare up, they're not to think that suddenly everything stopped working. It's just that
they need to get onto their standard eczema treatments again, restart those as soon as they're noticing any active eczema with their creams.
Right. Really important to know. Thank you. Do you think there's some other information while we've got you here today that you'd like to add about these new therapies?
So I think it's really important for people who are out there who have been living with severe eczema for a long time to ask questions and to know who to turn to for support. So, obviously organisations like yours are extremely important. Talking to GPs, now they can't prescribe the advanced therapies, but they would be able to refer to a dermatologist who can. So whoever, is the first port of call for a patient with any health problems, I said, talk to your GP and hopefully they'll be able to steer you in the right direction.
Excellent. Terrific. That's really important to know too. And I really appreciate you taking that time today to talk with us through that question. And I would like to just remind people as well, I'm just going to quickly share something here, that if you have any more questions, do feel free to reach out. We really thank our eczema community for all the questions that they asked. And I really encourage you to head over to our website so that you can see our blog and the full webinar recordings that we've got for information about new therapies on eczema. So that's eczemasupport.org.au. Feel free to head over there for some more information. And thank you again, Dr. Ross. Thank you for your time and your expertise on this topic.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye-bye.